Well, this episode wasted no time from going at the very beginning of this episode with Frieza's resurrection and being returned to the overall world of Dragon Ball, having a 4-month time skip and going to the very end of this episode, having Frieza touch down on Earth and about to battle our Z Warriors. How is it going, guys? I'm here to review episode 20 for Dragon Ball Super's English dub, and I just gotta say, I really liked this episode. Just having Frieza back into the story is just overall really cool, but we also get introduced to a new character, Jacco. We get to see Goku and Vegeta continuing their training with Whis, but then we get to see the remaining Z Warriors with Krillin, Gohan, Piccolo, Master Roshi, and even Tien going off to fight Frieza. So, starting off at the very beginning of this episode, I just gotta say, I love having Frieza back in Dragon Ball, but specifically in Dragon Ball Super. Just the demeanor and just the aura that Frieza gives when he is on screen is just so big and so grand. It just fits the character, and you feel uneasy when Frieza is on screen. And I gotta give props to the English voice actor, because even though this isn't the voice actor I am used to when I used to watch Dragon Ball when I was little, he still does an amazing job for Frieza. And I know that he also did the English voice for Frieza in Dragon Ball Z Kai and also the Resurrection of F movie. So he does an amazing job. But as soon as Frieza is introduced in this episode, you can tell just how ruthless he is, because as soon as Tagoma starts, like, you know, speaking out of turn, and of course, like, we even have Sorbet comparing him to Zarbon and Dodoria, Frieza immediately puts Tagoma in his place, you know, does like the death beams, the ki blast to his arms and legs, and he's just on the ground in pain. Just watching Frieza being the ruthless dictator that we know him to be is just very cool. But we do get two key information dumps within this episode pertaining to Frieza. The first one is that Frieza was actually told to not challenge Beerus and Buu. And the reason that this gets brought up is because Frieza comes to learn that Goku has gotten a lot stronger since, you know, their last fight. And, you know, Sorbet ended up mentioning that Goku actually ended up fighting and beating Majin Buu. And this actually made Frieza actually seem rather surprised, because Frieza's father, King Cold, told Frieza, do not challenge those two creatures. So I find that very interesting, that even though Frieza is this most feared person throughout the galaxy, even Frieza had two opponents that he was never supposed to go up against. But the other one I think that is really cool just to note is that Frieza has never trained a day in his life, which goes to show just that all that power that Frieza has is just natural and comes to him so easily. So him stating that he's going to take 4 months to train his body and unleash his latent potential is just going to be very cool. I know what's going to be coming because of the Resurrection F movie, but just to note that Frieza is going off to train for 4 months and has never trained a day in his life just goes to show the raw power that Frieza has at his disposal. So throughout this episode, we basically have a 4-month time skip. So in the background, Frieza has just been off training, but we also get within this episode a quick little scene of Goku and Vegeta continuing their training under Whis, but we have this strange moment when Goku and Vegeta lock fists and this mysterious blue aura basically goes around them. For those of you that have watched, you know, the Resurrection F movie and have been seeing the opening title now for this arc of Dragon Ball Super, we already know that this is hinting at the Super Saiyan Blue power that both Goku and Vegeta are about to get. So I like that they're planting hints right now for the power that they're actually going to have once they go up against Frieza. So I actually like that a lot. But now I got to talk about the new character that got introduced in this episode. Now, Jacco is this new character that gets introduced in this episode, and I already like his character a lot. I like the English voice actor they have for him. It just fits his character really well, and I love his interactions with Goten and Trunks, but also with Bulma. And to actually find out that this is actually one of Bulma's, like, longtime friends, even though throughout all of Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z, he has never been mentioned. At least to my knowledge, I know that he probably has never been mentioned. But I just love the dynamic and just the dialogue going back and forth with Jacco, with Goten and Trunks, and then just looking at him like what's with that like spandex you're wearing? He's like, no, that's my skin. It's like, what's wrong with that mask on your face? And he's just like, that is my face. So I like the dynamic going on between the kids and Jacco, but then also having Jacco talking with Bulma. And I just gotta say, I love Bulma's new design that she's been having for this arc. It just makes her actually look a lot younger, which I think is just rather weird because, you know, she's supposed to be a lot older, but she does look a lot sexier. So looks very good in there. So just the dynamic going back and forth between Jacco and Bulma is very nice. And then he ends up dropping the knowledge on Bulma that Frieza is approaching the Earth and has been training for 4 months and will be here in an hour. And right now, Bulma is freaking out. She tries to get Whis to come back to Earth, and when she's holding up this giant sundae, when she realizes that's not going to work, she ends up, calling Krillin, which we see him working at his police station job, and, he ends up calling 18, gets all the gear on, and ends up shaving his head, which he says old school, which I really, really like, getting to see the old school Krillin look. But I'm actually surprised that he wasn't freaking out because, this is the person that ended up killing him back in the Namek saga. So I would kind of think that, Krillin would be more afraid of Frieza actually returning, but that could just be me, from watching Dragon Ball Z Abridged so much. That's what I expect from Krillin as a character. But I love that he's just that shows no fear. He's basically even says within this episode, I hope I don't get killed by this character again. Ends up, leaving his daughter Marin in 18's, care, and he just flies off. And I love how 18 just looks at him and goes, he's so cool. So I love that little part right there. He goes to get Master Roshi, and then we have our Z Warriors team up. We have Master Roshi, Krillin, we have Tien, we have Gohan and Piccolo flying off to the spot where Frieza is about to land, and we just have to wait until next episode when we have the fated matchup between our Z Warriors against Frieza and the 1,000 men at his disposal. So I'm really looking forward to this, and I'm actually really surprised that the pacing for this episode was actually really, really fast. In typical Dragon Ball Z fashion, from the time that Frieza got resurrected till he landed, we'd have probably about 10 episodes of just, going through the motions, everyone trying to prepare. But this episode gets right to the point, which I absolutely love, and it's actually a good change of pace within the Dragon Ball world. So I'm really looking forward to the next episode. Let me know your thoughts on this episode down in the comments below. How are you guys enjoying the English dub of Dragon Ball Super? Do you like now that Frieza is now being reintroduced into the story? And how do you feel about Frieza's character right now being portrayed within Dragon Ball Super? And also, what are your thoughts on this new character Jacco that got reintroduced? Apparently, because he's been around for so long, we just didn't realize it. What are your thoughts on Jacco as a character? And leave your thoughts down in the comments below about what you thought about episode 20 of Dragon Ball Super. Anyway, guys, that's going to be it for this episode review. Until episode 21 comes out next week for Dragon Ball Super, I'll talk with you guys then. All right, guys, see you later.